Superman's final cut is described as Superman 2 on steroids and very silly, very big. I don't know if I love that part of it. The very silly, very big part. I don't know. That makes me a little nervous.
A little
Uh,
bit.
little nervous. But I'll tell you this before we even get into this. Um, so I know tons of people have seen this movie already. I'm sure you do as well.
Yes.
The first thing I'm going to say before I even say any of this is that I am not talking about Roxy Stryer. I'm not talking about Greg Albin. I'm not talking about Coy Jandra. I'm not talking about anybody in the Real Rejects. You have my word on that. I have heard from, I'm going to quote two other people that I know that saw it, not including any of those people. I swear, not one of those people. I'm going to tell you what they said about the movie. I asked them, and these are two people that I highly respect their opinions on movies because they're always really honest about stuff. And both of these people usually line up on par with their taste. Both really enjoyed the movie. One said just that, which I really enjoyed it, had a great time with it. I was excited to watch it, was the one. So, okay, great. Didn't ask for too much more. The other one said, really good movie, probably ranks it high, but not super, but he wouldn't categorize it as special, is what.
Okay.
And I said, what about the humor? Does it overpower the movie? And said, absolutely not. It's not the way Guardians does, is what this particular person said. So that made me hopeful on both, because of both of these people's opinions I usually align with. So I said, okay, I can go with that. I can deal with that. So, and more people here are now saying, things like the following, right? Which is, again, Superman's final cut is now described as Superman 2 on steroids, and very silly, very big. More details about Superman have landed after recent screenings, and the DC Studios reboot is being compared to 1980 Superman 2 in a positive way, we think. You can find out more after the jump. Josh Wilding says, we've been getting bits and pieces of information from Superman's test screenings for months, but the movie has been picture locked for weeks and was screened to the press for the first time in the US yesterday. Reactions won't be shared on social media until next month. Well, it's the next month is like next week. I guess it is next month.
People do that. Like same thing. It'll be like July 2nd. It'll be like, yeah, last month was crazy. It's, you mean 2 days ago?
Right. It's next, and like next week. Reactions will be shared. However, a reliable social media scooper who shared many of the details referenced above, all of which have soon been confirmed as accurate, has an intriguing update. Asked about Superman's tone in the final cut, viewer Anon described the movie as Superman 2 on steroids. The Superman the movie sequel was released in 1980 and became mirrored in controversy when Richard Donner was replaced as director by Richard Lester after shooting 75% of the movie. Donner's director's cut was finally released in 2006, and both versions are far more bombastic than the classic first installment. Asked to elaborate, the insider said it's very silly, very big. Another social media insider, Resident Justice, later chimed in by saying, "I also described the final film as a live-action episode of Superman, the animated series. It's very Silver Age. It's got a lot of those sci-fi tropes. It's big in spectacle, drama, and laughs, but most importantly, it's big in its heart. It's a very earnest film." That is what I love the most about what I've read so far, personally. There are also what appears to be very early reactions floating around on Letterboxd, with one supposed viewer saying someone finally got Superman right. Depending on how you feel about Superman 2, the latest update will be either exciting or troubling. Based on one past experience, it's almost given that Superman's social media reactions will be glowing, especially when fan accounts were in attendance this early sneak peek, some of them labeled on X with the hashtag WB partner hashtag. Okay. Let's see, Superman 2. That's everything. All right, now first I got to address, there's a comment that I get all the time about when we talk about Superman 1 and 2. Yes, Superman 2 is a Richard Donner film. It was like, oh no, Superman 1 is the only one he did. No, so Justice, no, he did the second one. 75% of the movie that was pretty much edited. They put in reshoots and everything too. It was his movie. He literally shot the Ursula and Zod and Non. He shot all that stuff. They used 75% of his footage, and then they gave him his own Donner cut. So no, Lester, you don't get credit for that. For just, it's not like a Tony Gilroy situation. In the same way, if it was a Tony Gilroy, who gets credit? Who gets credit? I love True Classic. That's how I'm going to start this. I have fallen in love with them. I have so many new things, whether it comes to t-shirts, whether it is sweatpants, things I go to the gym for. I love it. I absolutely love them. At True Classic, the mission goes beyond fit and fabric. It's about helping guys show up with confidence and purpose. The gear fits right, it feels amazing, and it's priced so guys everywhere can step into confidence without stepping out of their budget. What really sets them apart, it's not just about the fit or the fabric, it's the intention behind everything that they do. True Classic was built to make an impact, whether it's helping men show up better in their daily lives, giving back to undeserved communities, or making people laugh with ads that don't take themselves too serious. They lead with purpose. So I have been loving True Classic. I got them. I've got a bunch of things that, well, again, like I said, shirts, pants, and I told my wife the other day, I said, I don't know if I want to go anywhere else right now. True Classic. I mean, I'm telling you, I went out to go out with some friends. I was wearing this True Classic t-shirt. They fit really nice. They just they're comfortable. It's good material. I love it. And you don't have to worry about it. Just get rid of the overpriced designer brands. Ditch the disposable fast fashion. True Classic is built for comfort. It's built to last, and it's built to give back. You can grab them anywhere, Target, Costco. You can head to trueclassic.com/Christian. That's where you really should go, and get hooked up today. You will love it. I have been swearing by it. I'm telling you, this is me telling you straight up. I love this brand. I love True Classic.
What about in comparison? Because I don't know how much was shot of the original Justice League. What of that do you put as Snyder versus Whedon? Because I feel like that's a better.
Yeah. Well, no, it's not. It's
contemporary.
The problem is there. You don't really necessarily know how much. I mean, that Joss Whedon thing. That's more that version is Joss Whedon's version. I mean, that's Joss Whedon's version. That's not Snyder's version. Snyder's cut is no. Joss Whedon has nothing to do with it. That's a Snyder movie. So I would say they're both of them directed movies. You have footage that he used, but Joss Whedon used way more of his footage and his narrative. Donner's narrative is still in.
Okay.
Too. If you watch the Donner cut, the narrative is the same narrative. There's just different scenes.
I think I only watched the Donner cut.
Okay.
Because remember, I hadn't seen the original Supermans, and so when I watched it, I only watched the Donner cut. I didn't watch the original release.
There's different scenes and everything too, but there's not much of a difference. So yes, Richard Donner is very much as much involved in Superman 2 as he was 1. So when I say the Donner films, I mean the Donner films. 1 and 2. He was the one who created and put together that whole narrative. So Soul Justice, as much as I love you, you are wrong, brother. It is absolutely 100% a Donner movie. So if Superman 2 is being compared to this movie, for me, makes me very hopeful because that's my favorite Superman movie at anything. It's my favorite Superman anything. That was the movie that I loved as a kid. It's a movie that I continue to go back. I absolutely love that movie. So combined with the idea that there's a lot of heart, and by the person that told me that the jokes don't overpower it, I'm even more hopeful for this movie than I was yesterday. How about yourself?
I mean, I have remained excited about this the entire time, so I'm actually very much for what's coming one way or the other. I don't, obviously, where I become a little hesitant just from this is not a jab at comic book movies. This is just kind of how articles are written at this point, because they do come off as a little clickbaity. To say very silly and very big out of context in that way, it feels like you're trying to everybody like you that was potentially worried about this being, oh, it's gone, it's just gonna be jokes and the dogs everywhere and blah blah blah. That's what putting that in the headline reads. And so that does worry me a little bit. But I think about Superman 2, and I even told you this, I preferred Superman 2 over Superman 1 because I felt like Superman 1 at times was a little too
campy,
like Otis, and I feel like it does get toned down a bit in 2. The only thing in 2 that doesn't make sense, honestly, is the cellophane S. That's the only thing that I didn't even, I've known about that since I was a kid, having not seen the movie, because like Family Guy made fun of how that made no sense. So like, that is the only thing about Superman 2 that I would be like, why would we do that? And unless Gunn does that just to be cheeky, I'm that doesn't necessarily bother me per se.
Yeah, I am. I'm telling you, like the person that told me that carries a lot of weight with me, about the humor, because it was the first thing I asked, and like, no, it does not overpower it. I was like, great. I was like, that to me, then I'm hopeful, because that particular person felt the same way I did with Guardians 2, that everybody got a joke, and it just kind of deflated the story. And the fact that they didn't feel that way about this one, again, I'm excited about it. And it is. I mean, it seems like everybody and their mother's hitting screenings right now. I'm waiting. I was like, I don't want to buy. I asked the Warner Bros. Rep, who've been so great, and I don't want to keep, because I heard there was another screening on like Monday here, and then that the rep was like, I haven't heard anything there, and I'm like, all right, and I literally wrote, I'm going to leave you alone now, and it said, haha.
Look, man, I got somebody that works at Warner Brothers, and I've been trying, because she takes her husband to stuff all the time, and they both know that this is the stuff that I cover, and she's like, yeah, I myself may get 0+1s. It may just be me, where they're doing this in a very particular way of, yes, they're giving these screenings out, but they are also like really tightening things up specifically with this.
It's interesting, yeah, because it looks like it just shows you how different the landscape is now. Because I remember when Ellis and I were doing when we first got into the press screenings in like 2010 or something, and they were like, YouTube, like, what? It was hard for us to get in, right, at all, because it was only print critics. It was only like the hoity-toity critics that were kind of getting, and the legit critics who were like, really the well-written. I mean, Alonso Duralde is someone I always heard. I love Alonso, and he's a brilliant critic. And like people like that were like that was the priority for the studios, were those people have to go see this movie first, whatever the movie was in 2010. The social media people are like, what? That's not a thing. YouTube people, listen. Now those people have priority over those critics, because you see there's a TikTok person got like 2 million views who went to one of these screenings, and I don't take that person's opinion serious at all, but they get into the screenings because they have an audience and they get excited about it, and they're promoting it, which makes all the sense in the world. And they should be, honestly, at this point, if it's a marketing thing, they should be. If you want the excitement around it, it makes all the sense in the world, and people shouldn't be bitter about it. That fact, it's just like, that's how it is. It's just how it is. It's marketing.
Yeah, I guess I better start learning to do TikTok dances.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's not even TikTok dances. It's like people just talking, and getting excited. If you're overly excited about it, and if you have a product, and you're like, okay, look, who do I want to go? I'm gonna invite the critic, who I will eventually invite. I'm gonna probably, and I'll get them into the press screening, like week of the movie. But I want to give early screenings to somebody. Do I want to give it to the critic that might not like it, or I'm going to give it to the enthusiastic TikTok person whose life is Superman and wants to do anything that they can to see this movie? I'm going to invite the person. I want the excited person to go
all day. The only thing about that I think they have to be careful. I still think that the ultimate way to go with this, you got to find a way to split the difference. They need to find a way to pair a respected critic with somebody that, like, almost like a Wozniak and Jobs scenario, and have them work in tandem, so that you're getting respected opinions, and not just, I'm super, super hype about it, but you're still bringing the hype to it one way or the other. You know what I mean? Like, there's got to be a way to marry the two, because I think that's part of why half the people go, I can't believe that he's just a shill for Superman. And then on the other hand, be like, he hates everything. He hates everything superheroes. We got to find a way to marry the two.
There's two things, though, that, I mean, this is what I said, like, where I think we had this conversation yesterday, like when Roka was talking about it, you can't take people seriously. He went a little too extreme. Like, you can't take people who are walking in there with Superman shirts and everything too. It's like, you can take people seriously. It's like, the thing is, though, it's the same as you and I have mentioned many times over. It's premieritis, right? And it's like, if you're going to, like, I am going to list, from me personally, if I would probably listen to the person that I spoke to yesterday and their objective opinion than I would the TikTok person who's excited to be around and sit next to James Gunn. It's like, doesn't mean they shouldn't be there. Doesn't mean it's not relevant for them to be there. Doesn't mean that if you're excited too, you shouldn't listen to them because you share in their excitement. it means that for me, I'm not going to go, oh, you know what? A lot of people are saying this thing is pretty damn good. The TikTok guy who loves Superman loved it. I mean, I'm going to love it. It doesn't, because I don't resonate with that person. I resonate to the person I was texting with today. And now, like, okay, I'm a bit hopeful. You can't win if you're in this space and you're reviewing this movie. You can't win. You'll get a guarantee that if you like it, you know, you're still. I mean, remember last week when I was, or 2 weeks ago when the trailer came out, and I had a couple of things to say about the humor, and then the whole thing was basically about the fact that how, like, I didn't get it and I was wrong and I'm an idiot. And then the other day, the scene came out, which I really enjoyed. He's a DC shill. He's this. It's like you can't win. It's like, so it doesn't, and that's just not just me. I'm just talking about anybody in general. I'm just using myself as an example.
No, of course.
Yeah, and it's like, so you have to just be honest. You have to. That's the one thing people always ask, like, how do I do this YouTube thing? How do I do this thing if I want to do it? You have to, no matter what. You've got to be honest. You can't get lured in by, well, if I don't want the DC audience to kill me if I don't like it, they just destroy, not literally, but like but you know what I mean, like if it's like, oh, what do I do? Be honest. Just take the hits, whether you're, you know, you love it or you're not. Like, if I go in and I don't like it and I don't like the humor, I'm putting up the shield and getting ready for it. You know, same thing if I wind up loving it, I'm taking the shield up. I know it's coming, and maybe that's just with experience. I don't know, but how do you feel about it, Winston?
I mean, it's funny. One of my favorite rappers of all time is Lupe Fiasco, and he had a song. I want to say on his third album. Yeah, it was his third album called "Words I Never Said," and I've been listening to this song on repeat the last couple of weeks. But we're scared of almost everything, afraid to even tell the truth. So scared of what you think of me, I'm scared of even telling you. And the truth of the matter is this: we are so afraid of being genuinely honest about things, like loving something, but still being able to criticize it, that a lot of times people do get caught in that trap. So they do end up looking like a Superman shill, or they do end up looking like an absolute hater, versus being honest about, hey, Brave New World, I thought that Anthony Mackie did a great job. I thought Carl Lumley stole the show, but I have a lot of issues with the story. That doesn't mean that I am all of a sudden a Captain America, Sam Wilson hater. And it also doesn't mean by me saying that Anthony Mackie did a great job that I'm like, this is the most perfect movie of all time. There is a legitimate, honest, nuanced mentality of going at it. So the same thing you were saying about maybe the humor with Superman, with your example, you're being honest that you're like, no, this looks like it's going to be a good movie. That has me a little concerned. Yeah. That is okay. We can have two thoughts at the same time.
Right. And that's what I said. And again, like I said, I'm just using myself as an example in general, because like there's, I think that there's going to be tons of people out there, no matter what. It doesn't matter whatever property it could be. And I don't think there's any property out there right now that if you like something, you know, you're like, hey, dude, I even said, I think, like, we'll get into it later. Like Ironheart is another example. Like Ironheart to me is to quote the kids, is a mid show, right? And it's fine. I think it was better than I thought it was going to be. The third episode to me was really good. I thought there's some really good things. I think the crew is not good at all. The crew is not good. But there's a lot of different things that I thought worked. There's a lot of things that didn't. But oh man, you can't even say something's decent. And then I followed it by, I don't think the show's going to do very well. You can't win. And show there's no fandom that you can, if you like the second season of Last of Us, oh my God, there you go. But you like the first season. It's like, you got to, like I said, you got to be honest. You got to just do your thing, and you got to do as much as I don't like Last Jedi, you got to do the thing.
And that's the honest, the truth of the matter is, and that's the thing. You're right. You need to be able to stand on your own too. I disagree with you on Ironheart. I don't think it's like A+. We'll talk
about it.
Yeah. But I think that it's fantastic. I'm really loving the show. Okay. I've got issues. I've definitely got issues.
Yeah, we'll do a full on discussion about that in a little bit.
Yeah. But all that being said, the reason why, and I know you already know this, is because everything that somebody loves in this world at this point, whether it be a piece of art or media, a sports team, a public figure, a celebrity, whatever it is, because we've gotten to the age of hate pays, you say you love something, 10 haters pop out the woodwork to make fun of you or to talk crap about you or whatever. You say you don't like something, 10 people that love something now become your hater to be like, how dare you say that, instead of listening to what you're saying.
Yeah, but and there are a lot of people. Look, I'll give this audience a lot of credit. I really do. I give this audience a lot of credit. Like you see these conversations in this live chat very often where it's like, okay, I don't agree with you, but, and I like that. And I like that. And I will say this also, and I don't know if people will realize this or not. I took to heart recently, people said to me as I was the chat, they said, you're paying attention to the negative stuff too much and you're addressing it too much. And it gets tiresome, which is not mean. And I said, I look back and I go, you're right. You're 100% right. And I said to myself, and I said to all of you guys, let's not address the nonsense. Let's just not address it because the audience getting tired and they're the ones that count. You got to listen to the audience in that side. And if they're like, hey, look at us. We're here giving positive stuff. Talk about us. And they're right. They're 100% right. And so I hope that the audience has seen that I've been making a conscious effort to do that. And I don't want to sit in the negativity. I don't want to address it. I just bring that up too because it's relevant to what we're talking about in general with Superman coming up. But that's it. So anyway, I asked the audience, I ask you guys in general, what do you think about all this as Superman? Are you hopeful now? More so? Less so? Put your thoughts in there. Let us know.